guys, I'm Marnie, a small artist that took a long time of making it into reality, getting a new computer, and getting better art program plus equipment. I have wanted to show my artwork for a long time, and I'm so happy that a new year I can start off. But anyways, let's get into the video. The types of people I've interacted with has always been a mystery to me. I don't know if it's my personality or what, but I have noticed a pattern. They would, 1, judge based on my looks or appearance, 2, only wants one thing out of me, or 3, just wants me all to themselves. What I'm talking about here is toxic romantic relationships that I got myself into either by choice or by accident, not knowing their past trauma or abuse issues. I might make some story times about those people, but only for today. I just want to talk about the signs to look for in toxic relationships. I feel like it's more benefit towards other people and just to inform everybody on what I've gone through and what signs you should look for, even if you're an outside friend of a relationship or even if you're in a relationship. It's very important to just keep in mind of and keep note of. Number 1, controlling or manipulative behaviors. Number 1, controlling/manipulative behaviors. To look for people to try to brainwash from right or wrong. Basically, someone telling you simply anything that you say is wrong, even if you're right. So these type of people, the controlling/manipulative, they mostly just have more either like a physical or a mental grasp at your mind. They try to persuade you on what is right and what is wrong. Even if you feel in your gut like, I don't feel like this is right, they'll convince you that it's right, even if you think it's wrong. Even if you tell yourself it's wrong, you'd like scream in your head like, this is so wrong. So what I mostly dealt with these type of people is, again, it took me years. I don't expect someone new off the block to just suddenly understand what manipulative and controlling people are. But once you start noticing the signs and patterns of them trying to change you, so basically try to change from what your personalities are. I had one specific guy try to install a personality in me that it wasn't a part of me. I had another type of instance where a guy would try switching on what stuff I wanted to wear and what I didn't feel comfortable on wearing. But mostly what I dealt with these type of people is that either that you see it or that you don't. And honestly, I say that you should definitely look out towards your friends to see if they notice anything like this too. Number 2, grooming. To try to sweet talk or use emotions to let your guard down. Normally this happens to younger people, so I definitely say like usually middle schoolers should definitely be aware of this. They try to aim for someone that is 13, maybe even younger, to like, I think the youngest I've seen it is like 14 or 15. It's usually by an older individual, so someone that is over 18. Sometimes I see them as like 21, 22 to like their 30s, 40s, 50s, you name it, where they try to just sweet talk a person and try to just weasel themselves into your life. Sometimes I have been groomed before, not by like obviously an older person trying to groom me, but mostly by just general relationships. Like, for example, someone that had way more power over me, I let my guard down and I let them in. Sometimes it also could be a boss, it could be someone that's higher authority than you. Then some say if you're working with the same company, if you're underneath them, that is grooming, technically. what I have to say for like the individuals is that just try to stay away from this. Is don't get on social media, and be careful if you do. If you do get on social media, only friend the people that you know in real life, because especially if you're a younger individual, like it's not safe on the internet, and I will tell you that, and I will scream it super duper loud. And how you really get around this is either A, by blocking them and just block them from every single thing that you have, or B, just try to report them to their police, because it's very important to try to stop those people. And just please just don't lead on with stuff like that, or like try to get somebody to think that you're 13 and frame them for all this stuff, because trust me, that doesn't work out very well. Number 3 is narcissistic and hypocrite behaviors. Someone that goes back on what they said or has done in the past, or in present, or even in the future sometimes. So, when you're dealing with the narcissistic or hypocrite type of person or type of abuse, they try to switch whatever they have done, and they'll say, oh, well, actually, I've done this. And then when your friend or even you says, actually, no, I've seen you do this before on whatever, and you pull up the whatever they done, and then they're like, oh, no, that wasn't me, yada, yada, yada. Pretty much of like what they do. They try to cover up, they try to yell, or they try flipping the script on you. Sometimes they'll be like, well, you've also done this, or you done this before. And it's just one type of tactic they'll use to try to get themselves, quote unquote, on the good side and try to win the argument. Normally they have that one goal. That one goal is always winning the argument. And they want to make sure that they're always right and that you're never right. So what I normally do with these type of people is I either, in the past, especially with toxic relationships, I either let it be known that, hey, this is the type of problem I have with you. Or if you've already talked to this person about it and they still haven't changed their ways, tell them I'm leaving because of X, Y, and Z. And just let it be that. Let it be known. Number 4, physical abuse. It's someone inflicting pain or harm on another person. So when you're dealing with this either on the inside of a relationship or even on the outside, it's very hard, especially on the outside perspective, to see what goes on a relationship by only seeing from the third person. So normally I will say that they will either try to cover up their scars or their bruises by either makeup, or they wear hoodies, they wear baggy clothes. You normally never see them like in shorts or in like a tank top, because that's where normally sometimes maybe their bruises are. I'll definitely also say that sometimes out of physical, like actual violent abuse, there's also sexual abuse. You'll see like their neck all covered in bruises. You'll see like certain parts of like their bodies just all over covered. And it's very hard to really tell if they're in that type of relationship or they wanted that. So, for example, when you try talking about said person, they always try to cover up. They cover up their abuse, saying, oh, well, he was just angry about something, or no, like she'll never hurt me. They always try covering up to like their close friends and family because they know that they're actually hurting them. Or sometimes they'll stay away. So like if you haven't heard from your bestie from like weeks or even months and months and months on end, that's probably a huge red flag that they're with an abusive person that honestly have scared them so much to the point they're scared on leaving them. So I will say with those people, if you're on the outside perspective, if you notice stuff go on like that, you see the signs that I'm talking about, please, oh please, find out where they are. Don't give up on them. And don't say, oh well, fuck this person. No. Please help them. Because sometimes people don't realize that they're in these type of relationships until you get into them. And for the person that is that person that's in an abusive relationship, find a way out. Run as fast as you can. Get out of that relationship. Cut them off as much as possible. I know it hurts, especially if, depending how long you've been with that said person, but trusting me, I'd rather you honestly do better for yourself mentally and not physically get hurt so much to the point where you can barely stand up, but you need to leave that person. Maybe your best friend, or maybe your friend actually sent you this video for a reason. Who knows? Number 5, the users / soul suckers. So normally when I call soul suckers, they're usually just the lazy person in the relationship. It could either be someone that's not working, they're not doing anything, they're always using you as a financial support. Meaning that you are the person that's paying for the electricity, the rent, water bill, Wi-Fi, you name it. It has only been you that has been paying for all that stuff, even though this person or this person that you're in a relationship with is just sitting on their butt. What I've dealt with them in the past is that I had one specific guy that quit his job because he wasn't happy in that said job, and I was really patient. And keep in mind, patience, it runs its course. I gave him weeks and weeks of him trying to find something else, and I told him before he quit them from that said first job is to apply to a different job before quitting that first job, because that's normally what you do. So if you want to change your job, please do not quit. Always try to line something up. Once you have lined something up, put in your 2 weeks and then transfer to the other job. But no, this guy tested my patience to the point where I spent money on him. I bought him gas, I bought him this, I bought him that. To the point where there was one point where there was only $10 in my bank account. It was that bad, and I made good money too. So it got to that point where it was only $10. I was running out of options, and I was like, I can't have this anymore. We're done. So for those people that have dwindling bank accounts, honestly, you could either A, confront them about this, which again, please be nicely about it, but at the same time, say, I'm not going to take this anymore if you're just going to sit on your ass and do nothing. Or if you already had that conversation with them, and they already know how you feel about it, break them off. You'd be done with them. Because honestly, they're either going to sink or they're going to float. And more likely, they're going to float more than anything because they've just been using you as an excuse because of the reason why they're not doing anything. And once you are gone from that person's mind, they might actually do something about it. It'd be good for them and also good for you because you are not getting your bank account drained. But then also, this said person is not going to use you anymore. They're just going to make their own money. Number 6, gaslighting. To change someone's reality. To question your feelings, your instincts, your sanity. That's just the moral gist of gaslighting. But I will say that it's very true for a lot of toxic people or in toxic relationships. It can turn into gaslighting, either one individual or even both the individuals that can manipulate or to change or to kind of twist someone else's thinking process. It could be draining for both parties or it could be draining for one person. And I'll say if you're also in that type of relationship, I either bring it up to the person, have a one-on-one down conversation with them, and if that doesn't work in the multiple times that you tried helping this person and it keeps mentally hurting you and mentally making a huge mental breaking point to you, it's obviously not worth it for that person. Don't stay with toxic people, especially that have manipulative gaslighting on top of them being a toxic person and then you trying to talk to them one-on-one and say, hey, this isn't right. Don't let them hurt your mental health. Let them be the ones to figure out why stuff doesn't work. Number 8, a hostile environment. It's when either one or both the parties pick a fight with one another or on the other person. For example, somebody can also make a hostile environment by either just like causing a problem either where you guys potentially live, or can make a hostile type of relationship where one person just always picks a fight with you, which is not okay. There's times that either I've had this issue or the people I was with had that issue too. Let me just say, with people that have made hostile environments or hostile places, sometimes they don't see it right away until it takes years upon years of figuring out and realizing, oh my god, I have this issue. I'm gonna go fix myself. Sometimes it takes a massive series of breakups or a massive series of going into relationship to relationship to relationship until they finally realize that, oh my god, it's been me the entire time. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad. What I will say is that either if it's the other person, sit down and try to talk with them about it, but at the same time, they're going to be the type of person where they're not going to believe you and they're going to think that you are the toxic one and that they're not. Alright. For number 8, these two things kind of go hand in hand with each other, which is distrust and dishonesty. It says someone takes time out of the relationship and the person doesn't know. Or the person does know. So trust and honesty go hand in hand in any type of relationship. It could be a relationship with family, friendship, or even relationships. It's like one of the main legs of the table to make a relationship stand. But once you realize distrust and dishonesty really come into play with toxic people, normally this happens like in beginning a relationship where you don't fully know the person fully yet, or when you begin to have a relationship with a person and they are honest and straight up and forward about, hey, I used to be a garbage person, I used to cheat and stuff, and the other person now feels like the distrust and the dishonesty from that because they're insecure about what the other person did in that past. So normally it's like a thing that you have to like really rebuild with the other person. Sometimes this happens like over the years that they've been with this person and they find out this whole new thing from their past that they didn't even know about. And it takes time and it takes work to really rebuild that. Sometimes it goes over really well. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes dishonesty and distrust really break a relationship. And once you see its real breaking point where the person just doesn't believe you, it's another sign to just cut the relationship. Number 9, jealousy. And here's the thing about jealousy. It's okay to be a little bit jealous in a relationship or even during a relationship, okay? But taking it to a whole nother level. So what I mean by that is straight up if either someone is being overly exaggerating or they always accuse you about flirting with a person or they accuse you of being overly friendly or they think that you're always trying to talk to like one specific type of sex. You know, the list goes on and on and on. But what really takes like the piece of cake is where they always get jealous of what you wear around certain people or how you act around certain people. And it gets to a point where the other person or the other party is just either A, just emotionally distraught, or B, they're just emotionally numb and they emotionally feel kind of hurt and they're like, why can't you let me be myself? I'm not flirting with all these type of people. I don't know what you're talking about. Sometimes you can either shut down the person that's really jealous, or sometimes the other person will come forward saying like, hey, I have a huge jealousy issue and I know it's an issue. I want to work on it. I'm sorry for the way I acted around you. Which that is a good trait to have, but if they don't have that mindset of thinking that maybe I'm the one with the jealousy issue, it's probably not really good if they assume that you do, even though that you don't. The last and final thing about toxic relationships is cheating. So, cheating can go a little bit both ways, and let me explain this a little bit more detailedly. So, the first way is that if you are a cheater, so like you've done this to multiple people and you just still keep doing it to this very day, again, along with distrust and dishonesty, the other person's obviously going to see that, and this is like the signs to see that if they are talking to multiple people, if they usually sometimes they have a really high Snapchat score, or there's like certain people they just don't want to tell you about, or they try to round the conversation out, or they try to avoid the question. But there's also a second side to cheating. Let me explain. So the second side is when they used to cheat, meaning that they're trying to get better or they're trying to grow from that, but sometimes the other person just feels so insecure about if they are going to cheat on them, and they make every way of making sure they don't try to cheat on you, but sometimes to the point where the other person that used to cheat is going to get sick and tired of them being insecure about their relationship, even though they keep trying to calm the other person down, saying that I'm not ever going to cheat on you. Sometimes it takes a lot of mental breakdowns or mental emotions to really try to grasp around the whole cheating thing. Normally, if it's the normal way around, the first one that I talked about, normally anytime that you catch your significant other cheating on you, you should break it off. There is no point to keep them in your life. And besides, after one person or one party has cheated, that's it. There is no redo. There's no going back to how it was, because from then on forth, it's known. It's known that they cheated. And all the other person is going to think about is how you pretty much was with another person and you did the devil's tango with them. And that's all that person's going to think about. Or even if, like, you guys could make it work, but it will never be the same. So normally I try to tell my friends or even my close buddies, if once you see that person cheat, you walk the other way. You go adventure with somebody else. There is no point to fix that relationship. The relationship is gone. The person that you knew is gone. And that's the moral of the story. Alright, we're getting close to the end towards the video, but this is the character I've been drawing the entire time of talking. This is Zia. Zia is part of like the Egyptian kind of style that I like having with her. I might be drawing more of her in the future, but she will be definitely posted on my Instagram in my Deviant Art. There are many factors or sometimes narratives that could make a person do things, but yours or their mental issues does not mean that they have any excuse to do any of it, or even take anything out on a person or even you. So please guys, stay safe and please be mindful of whoever you interact with online or in person. I hope you guys liked the video. Please subscribe and please do not forget to follow me on DeviantArt and Instagram for more art. You guys have a good day or a good morning or a good evening. Bye guys!